I think it's unfortunate that the Chinese actually don't want to come and negotiate because they are the worst offenders in the international trading system. They have the most imbalanced economy in the history of the modern world. And I can tell you that this escalation is a loser for them, that they have some very smart, the economists, the academicians, technocrats within their bureaucracy, and they would be telling the leadership that we do not have the edge here. They are the surplus country, that their exports to the U.S. are 5 times our exports to China. So they can raise their tariffs, but so what?
Well, it looks like the Trump administration was dead serious about China. I don't know. I can't help but wonder if this wasn't all about China all the time, given the new announcement today. Joining me now to talk about it, former congressman and currently senior vice president of business engagement at Liberty University, Dave Brat. Dave, Trump administration just slapped a big 125% on China and told everyone else, you get 90 days off. What's going on here?
Well, I think seriously what's going on is he's trying to bring the era of globalism to an end. That's seriously what I think is going on. Tariffs is part of that story. This was an ingenious move, right? Who knows what's pre-planned, but the rest of the world does appear willing to negotiate. And it's not just on tariffs, right? Tariffs are probably about 1/3 of the story, and 2/3 is non-tariff barriers. And the American people have not been educated on that, on the dumping and the federal government subsidies and the stealing and cheating on intellectual property and manipulating the currency. All of those pieces are used and they have been ripping us off for the past 40 years, right? For a while, we were willing to let that go, right? We set up the Bretton Woods liberal order after World War II, and we encouraged that because we wanted everybody to be on our side against Russia. But now China is posing a serious existential threat. And so this latest news right now is just cornered China, isolated them. We're decoupling from them. It's hurt the hedge funds more. My only concern is for the grandparents out there and the senior folks. I hope they're not selling off, right? Just get with a financial advisor and make sure you're doing something that's stable over the long term.
Okay, that actually brings me perfectly to something Kevin O'Leary, this clip's making rounds. Here's what he said on the news.
104% tariffs in China are not enough. I'm advocating 400%. I do business in China. They don't play by the rules. They've been in the WTO for decades. They have never abided by any of the rules they agreed to when they came in for decades. They cheat, they steal IP. I can't litigate in their courts. They take product, technology, they steal it, they manufacture it, and sell it back here. Never has an administration.
400% tariffs? What would that look like?
I want Xi on an airplane to Washington to level the playing field. It's just not about tariffs anymore. 400% tariffs tomorrow morning. He'll tell you why. Xi can only stay the supreme leader if people are employed. If we wipe out any business there, because we are still 39% of all consumables on Earth and 25% of the world's GDP, America is the #1 economy on Earth with all the cards. We will not have that forever. It's time to squeeze Chinese heads into the wall now.
Dave, do we have all the cards? That seems like an oversell.
No, I not by much. With China, we hold all the cards. As Bessent said, right, their trade, it's half their GDP. Our imports as a percentage of GDP in the U.S. are only 14%. So we can afford to play cards with China. Maybe not the whole world immediate. But what's striking is no one else is saying this, right? The Wall Street Journal, The Economist magazine, J.P. Morgan, Jamie Dimon. Where are they? Where's the House? Where's the Senate on these issues? They're all trading quarterly profits up to the last minute. China is doing $5 trillion worth of manufacturing a year. The U.S. is doing half of that, $2.5 trillion. China has $100 trillion capital stock to work with. We only have $70 trillion. Productivity in this country has been falling for 70 years in a row, according to the world expert at Northwestern University, Bob Gordon. That's why CBO and the Federal Reserve have us growing at 2% for the next 30 years. Where's the plan? Who's got an alternative plan? So Trump's got a plan. It looks like it's starting to work. We got, 100 billion coming in from Taiwan chips, 500 billion from Apple, reshoring from all their Asian supply chains, and example after example already, right before things have even kicked in. And so I think it's the right move. Any move doing anything gets, all the status quo and all the money makers upset. But this is the right thing for the American people. We've forgotten about Detroit and all the cities that have been gutted. People are talking about higher import prices. I'm more concerned about the people, 5 million manufacturing jobs that have been lost, where we've lost, the families have lost their income. The surrounding service jobs have lost their core industries. It's in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's in Detroit, where I was born. You don't need to go far. And that's my main concern is we got to get America working with capital again. China's been working with capital. They somehow grew at 10% GDP for a decade with a huge tariff and cheating regime, right? Where are the experts on that? Where are our free trade buddies, right? They've all been so wrong and no analysis on this. And it's time for us to get a fair level playing field. And Trump's doing it. He's the only one that's doing it.
Dave, he announced that there's a 90-day pause on all the other countries. Hey, China's the one that wanted to escalate, then we're going to escalate. Everyone else, you get 3 months off. So what is his goal for those countries? I know Donald Trump is a fair trader, protectionist, whatever label you want to put on it. He's been that way for decades. So obviously he believes in tariffs. He believes in them outright. Is this 90-day pause just a 90-day pause, or is he going to maybe sweeten the pot for them to go after China? What do you think?
My guess, it's 90 days for the rest of the countries to sharpen their pencils and come back with that whole host of responses, not just on tariffs, right? Europe, Ursula von der Leyen came back, so we're going to zero tariffs on manufacturing. No. They got the VAT. They got all sorts of import controls. The car flows from Germany and the U.S. are bizarre. The flows on agriculture are bizarre. Trump's giving them, a little pause. Go do your homework. Come back with a fair proposal for us where you get rid of the cheating and the government subsidies, low cost. Prior to this, right, the important point is the economic experts supposedly were saying the only response to this is we have to just grow our monopolies and our oligarchs, right? The only way is to grow massive firms so that we can generate low costs to compete with China. No, I don't want that world either. That is not the world of Adam Smith and James Madison. We want a lot of small firms duking it out, small factions for Madison in the constitutional structure. These were geniuses that were looking out for America, for this country. The CEOs of the Fortune 500, unfortunately, have not been looking out for the country's best interest. And so this is a classic fight between Main Street and Wall Street. And Trump's the only person in recent history that's really put up a fight for the American people. So I couldn't be more thankful.
What's going on with the Panama Canal, Dave? Pete Hegseth was down there with some strong words. Here he was.
I want to be very clear. China did not build this canal. China does not operate this canal. And China will not weaponize this canal. Together with Panama in the lead, we will keep the canal secure and available for all nations through the deterrent power of the strongest, most effective, and most lethal fighting force in the world. We will do this in partnership with Panama. Together, we will take back the Panama Canal from China's influence.
Dave, take it back from China. What did China do with the canal?
Well, they're encroaching everywhere, right? On every island chain there is all around the world. They're building up artificial islands. They've been gently taking control of land and territory and property rights claims around the canal. Our original contract was with Panama and had certain conditions attached to it. Some of those conditions have been violated. And so I think Hegseth is just laying down the law. Our national security and our economic security will not be compromised by China. right? And so everyone's, the left, it's just astounding of the moral equivalency. So they'll say, well, then you got to give Taiwan to China along the same lines. No, the moral equivalency has to do with freedom and liberty, right? The Chinese are oppressing their people. They have slave labor. So they're not entitled to the same rights of taking over Taiwan for hemispheric reasons. We are not attacking any Asian country over there. In fact, we've paid the entire bill for the post-World War II liberal Bretton Woods order, it was called. We provided our defense. We're in the Red Sea protecting European trading lanes. I think we only do 4 or 5% of the trade through the Red Sea and through the ports up there. We're paying the entire bill for Europe. And so Trump's sick of it. And same here, right? We put this thing into place. And it's a U.S. asset, and he wants to keep it that way.
Dave, my brother, come back soon. I appreciate you as always. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.